2023 was crazy. It pulled me by my edges on the concrete.
I was attacked to a point where I felt like I was losing myself completely.
You stop
She said, you stop. No, Spider-Man moment. No, you stop it.
it. I do a heart check and I think about what do I need to say to myself today? What does the little DJ need today or the little Jaurdane needs today?
For me to really be unapologetic, I have to own my voice and own my story.
Faceless Brand doesn't mean that it's less work.
Welcome to the Empowered Era podcast, brought to you by the Elizabethan Era. I'm your host, Elizabetha Sandu. Some call me Lizzie, some call me Liz. And on today's episode, we have the affirmation queen herself, Jaurdane. Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey.
How are you?
I am so good. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. It is my absolute pleasure. Just for those that don't know too much about Jaurdane and her story, Jaurdane is somebody that has a lot of depth to her. Jaurdane is someone who you have probably seen her work before you saw her face. And there's a reason that I say that. She has mastered the art of faceless content, but also still showing up as herself and showing up as her own brand. She's been featured in Kohl's campaigns, Adobe creators, XOXO Kohl, as well as BuzzFeed. Girl, and that's just to name a few.
I know. I'm so grateful. I'm real blessed. I'm so grateful for the amazing opportunities, and I'm grateful. I don't have anything else to say other than thank you.
Let's talk to them about what we were actually talking about before we got on camera and what we've been talking about in terms of what actually kickstarted the podcast. So before we got on camera, we were just doing a full catch up because I feel like we haven't fully sat down in a minute. But let's chat with them about the March event last year around Women's History Month. How was that for you? Because you were actually the keynote at that event. And from that, it birthed what we see today. Like a few of the other panelists, they're also gonna be on.
Oh, that's so cool. I cannot wait to see their episodes. I mean, first of all, the event last year was so amazing. It was just beautiful to see so many Black women in a room, to feel supported, to feel seen, to feel understood. It was just a beautiful opportunity just to be served well and just to be in a good environment of like-minded individuals. So I just want to say thank you for doing your big one on that. You did that, and I just am grateful to have been a part of it. I mean, I still think about that event because I'm just like, I met so many amazing, beautiful souls that day. I got to take pictures with them. I mean, it was just amazing. And just to see you shine in such a way was just beautiful, to see you light up because this is what you love to do. I think that's what did my heart good the most, is to see you shine, because I'm like, you know what, this is her element. This is what she loves to do. She's really about the work. She's really about the empowerment. Although we gonna put on a fit, and we gonna put, and our hair's gonna be laid,
we gonna dress it up,
and the
every
nails
time
are gonna be done.
Hello.
We really about that work too. So it's good to see the duality in both. Like, you can be both fine and fearless and empowered and all the things. So anyway, congratulations.
No, you're gonna make me cry and we haven't even started.
Stop it.
Because
Stop it. You stop it.
She said, you stop. No, Spider-Man moment. No, you stop it. Feeling like you are walking in your calling is crazy. And when you feel it,
absolutely,
you don't want to lose it.
You don't.
But when it's taken away from you, you do everything in your power to get it back.
Yeah.
In my journey of 2023, it's been a crazy whirlwind, and I'm sure you could say the same.
Yeah.
One thing I admire the most about you is how much you own your story. Like, you truly own it. I heard from a wise person before I kickstarted this podcast, because I actually said there's some things that are off limits. We're not talking about that. And they told me, if you don't own your own story, then you essentially are allowing other people to use it against you.
Create their own narrative.
No one can use information that you've already shared against you because you've controlled that narrative. In light of sharing our stories, sharing our testimonies, helping other people own their story. Tell me about the life catch-up. How's 2023 been for you before we even got into 2024?
2023 was crazy. It pulled me by my edges on the concrete.
Wait, stop, hold on. That visual?
Yes, it pulled me by my edges on the concrete. It did not care what I had going on. It did not care if I was finished with what I had to do. It said, come on. And it just pulled me and drug me by my edges on the concrete, face down. That's how 2023 felt.
The thing is, I can see the visual and I can feel it because there's a lot underneath the surface that people don't see. And I resonate.
Right after we did the Women Empowered event, I had the amazing opportunity going like this Lexus Trip, right? It was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, we went, did all the things, came right back, spiraled because I was working so hard to get my affirmations book out. I'm a self-published author. I was out here trying to do a labor of love, do the Lord's work, if you will, and put out this affirmation. I felt called to do it. And one thing I will say, if you ever feel called to do something, if you're writing a book, if you're going after any type of initiative, just know that that is where you're going to be attacked the most.
Wait, say that again.
If you're ever going after any type of initiative, if you're trying to write a book, if you're trying to start a business, if you are trying to do anything, become anything, just know that that is where you will be attacked the most, okay? Because I had never ever struggled mentally like I have until I decided to write a book about overcoming your, like, basically an affirmation.
The moment you were walking in your calling, you're being attacked, because what happened during the 40-day fast? We think we're the only ones that are getting attacked when we're trying to like make sure we are on path, doing right. Like that's when temptation will come.
Yeah.
That's when all of the hardships just start hitting you left and right. And you're over there thinking in your mind, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And is this worth it?
Yeah. But you got to remember what God told you to do. You can't forget what God said.
Amen.
And even in the midst of having the worst year of my life, I never forgot what God said. When I got basically, set back with my book, and that took more money, more time, I remember God told me to do it. So I was like, I'm going to do it. But it took a level, like I mentally declined. I had to go through a lot of things. I literally declined so much that I had to call my friends, put them on a Zoom call to tell them that I was not okay. It was the most excruciating time to even do, because I am very independent. I'm hyper independent, of course. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but that calls for us not to like want to reach out. So anyway, I reached out to my friends, all the things, right? And that's just in May, early May, late April. The book gets here, we get over that hump. I'm starting to feel like myself again, and then I get completely robbed, vandalized, apartment just tore up, took everything. I didn't know what to do. I, of course, did all the things, legal things. You call the police, you do all the things. It was just one of the worst feelings. It was gut-wrenching. I don't know if anybody has, or if you've ever been vandalized or been robbed in that way. I mean, all of your possessions taken like that, you just don't know what to do. So that was just a very, very hard moment for me. And I was already struggling mentally. So 2023 was that. That was late May, right? Then we get to June. I get a chance to go to the BET award weekend, which is
hold
great.
on. The contrast.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know.
Continue.
I know. June comes, I get an opportunity to go to BET weekend, which was amazing.
Oh, I love that.
So grateful. And then 3 weeks later, my biological mom dies. Yeah, so 2020, like I said, it grabbed me by my edges, pulled me on that concrete, and did not care.
And kept dragging
me. Kept dragging me. So here I am in July, and I thought I had more time. So 2023 taught me so many lessons. There were so many highs, but there was also so many lows. So then my biological mom passes. Then I'm immersed in my biological family, that environment, that whole thing. I'm like, wow. And then, life moves on. And then we start picking up the pieces of where we all fall apart, because that's where I fell apart.
What was the relationship you had with your biological mom before she passed?
It was cool. It was like, hey girl, hey. I am grateful that I was intentional about getting to know her. I thought I had more time. She was 57 when she passed. Okay. I thought I had more time with her. I thought I had more time to build a relationship. So that shook me to my core. Because here I am thinking like, oh, okay, when I get my life together, I'm going to go. You know how we think, I'm going to do better.
We just think that we have tomorrow promise.
Yeah, we have tomorrow promise, but the person that you wanted to get to know may not. So I really had to sit with that. And that was like life-changing for me. I don't know if anybody has lost a parent, but losing anyone that you know in any relationship, you losing a parent in any regard is hard. So anyway, I'm in DC with my family because that's where I'm from. And I just love how the Lord allowed me to be in this space with my family and not feel like an outcaster, because I didn't grow up with them or anything. So the Lord was gracious with that. Even in the midst of all the pain and all the hurt, he was still gracious to me. But yeah, 2023 was crazy. And then we end up just working through the rest of the year.
It's grind coming to that Q3, Q4.
Listen,
huh?
all the things.
The deliverables are
yes.
crazy.
Up here. So 2023, that's recap.
No, I appreciate you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that happened.
It was crazy.
But greater is to come.
Oh my gosh.
And God has a testimony and a reason why he put you through all of those tests. When God is taking you through trials and tribulations, that is when your faith is tested the most. And he's trying to get a better understanding of like where you're going to gauge and if you're going to fall or if you're going to continue rising to the occasion. I'm a big believer that everything we've experienced is experienced for a reason, and it's only going to help us grow in the end. When you're in, for example, the moment that set you back with your book, the moment that you lost a mom, when you're in that, there's a lactic acid that's building. There's a muscle that's building. Similar to, y'all don't know she's sing, but she's sing, girl. And we talked about like
barely.
Hey, I may make you sing on camera.
No, don't you do that.
But when we talked about even like singing as a skill that you have to exercise your muscles towards, when you are in the trenches of something, that's when God is pruning you. That's when he's really working you. So the question is, are you going to waste the workout in terms of not learn the lesson? Or are you going to come out of it and say, okay, this was going to make me stronger because the blessings that are coming, I would not have been able to sustain that season at this level of peak if I didn't go through this one. And so on my end, 2023, right after the event, I was severely attacked.
Oh,
it was really bad. And I was attacked to a point where I felt like I was losing myself completely. I was losing my creativity.
Yeah.
I felt like March was actually my best month of 2023.
How did you know you were losing your creativity?
I knew I was losing it because I started questioning my strengths. Things that are talents and gifts. I did not know if I was fully equipped in those areas. I knew that certain voices were from the enemy. And I also knew that there were certain things that were occurring that were out of my control and had nothing to do with me and had a lot to do with other factors. I found myself having to fight to show up as who I naturally know that I am. How you were mentioning like at the beginning of this conversation, at the event, you saw that I was clearly walking in the light that I'm supposed to walk in. Like I love congregating and bringing people together, hosting events, networking, allowing this person to meet this person from this portion of my life. And just like having that like moment, seeing everyone, oh my gosh, I met someone, and now y'all can go and do dinners together and I don't have to be there and y'all have your own relationship. I love that.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I'm so proud of you because there's so many nuances and stuff like this. Like, it's hard. This is hard. You have to have a likeness about you that people just gravitate to. Like, you have to have something. You got to come to the table with something. That's what this is. I'm leaving here with something.
And can we talk about what you coming to the table with?
Yes, I am coming to the table with my first ever affirmations journal.
I love it.
This is a labor of love. This is literally a labor of love. This is just me saying, you know what? My community has been asking me for a journal, has been asking me to put these affirmations into a book. I'm going to do it. So it is a 90-day affirmations journal packed with 90 days of affirmations, of course, journal prompts and scriptures and places for you to jot down notes.
Can we do a full unbox?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh.
So your journal comes in a book, Touch of Ivory. That is not my fingerprint, but we're going to go with it. And it comes with this card.
I love it.
Of course, thank you card. Then your book is on the inside. It's a gray book. Should I take it out?
Oh, yes. Can I see it?
Yes, please.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. This is stunning.
Thank you.
The quality.
What you thought?
Huh?
No.
I believe that no, you're not playing. And don't let anybody play with you. What? I want you guys to just think about it. So if you're listening in at this moment, this is the point that you pause your podcast, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, wherever, and go to the YouTube because you need to see this book. This book is indeed a labor of love. Huh?
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. I'm really proud of it. It was a stretching moment for me. It was one of my biggest insecurities is writing and public speaking. I've always been an entertainer kind of child. Like I've been able to sing as a child, been able to play the piano, do all the things, draw, paint, do all that type of creative, stuff. But when it came to like academics, I wasn't really strong in it. Especially like when I became an entrepreneur, that's when I really learned how to write like fluent emails and, all the things, because you have to do those things. So I was really, really insecure about my writing because people were like, I didn't understand your email. My bad. Listen, I'm working. To be now an author is crazy.
With you self-publishing and having to overcome, have you made use of technology such as AI, ChatGPT, to help you craft or write?
Not with this one. I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't.
Did you use like Grammarly or anything?
With this one, I sent to an editor.
Okay.
They may have used Grammarly or something. But now, before I post my affirmations on Instagram, I will send them through Grammarly just to make sure that they're, the punctuation in the words are right and stuff like that. But I had an editor help me with this. But it's all my words, all my writing. And I made it just so that we could have something to aid to our morning devotions, to help us in the mornings, like if we just need something, or if you just want something cute on your coffee table.
Ooh.
The girls like nice things.
Can we get into these affirmations? So I introed you as the affirmation queen because that is what you are.
Yes.
There's a reason why you do what you do. Yes. God has called you to this. The amount of times I see someone reshare it, and in my mind I'd be like, I know they don't know my friend like that, but I love the fact that they recognize the work and they see the craft. Yeah. There's so many people that are impacted by your daily affirmations. It's one thing to show up online, you know how everyone says consistency is key, consistency is key, but you're not showing up for yourself. You're showing up for others online every day, Monday through Monday. You know what I mean?
The first step is you got to show up for yourself. Like, because you just mentioned you show up for everyone else. It's like, but I started out showing up for myself.
What did that look like for you?
It was in a pandemic, and I was really trying to like find, how like, I just love taking photos. I'm a content creator. Of course I love taking photos of cute things.
I'm a content creator.
Of course I love doing videos. Of course. Of course I watch my stories back. I'm a content creator.
Of course I'm the first and the last view morning and night on my own story.
Okay, so period. So why not create things that subconsciously feed your mental health? And as a child, my grandmother would make me say affirmations in the morning. And on the way to school, I had this like little, you remember those sheet covers you could put your paper in? You put the sheet covers. We had one of those above the sun visor in the car. And I had a list of affirmations because I wasn't all the way good in school. So my grandmother was like, on the way to school, you're going to say, I'm a good child. I'm well-mannered. I'm smart. And so at an early age, I was saying affirmations on the way to school just so I could have my behavior could be right. So anyway, I was struggling during the pandemic. A lot of us were. It was a really, really dark time for a lot of us. And it was just a dark world during the pandemic. We're going through race wars and economy deficiencies and all the things. And we were just struggling mentally. It was a decline mentally for all of us. That's where the whole buzzword mental health comes from, because we were suffering mentally during that time. And so I was like, you know what? I know I am, so I'm just going to create cute things or beautiful things that I enjoy looking at. And I started making those stories. And I mean, from the flame, I have this thing, I love finding pockets of peace around my home. So if it's a shadow or lighting or my fireplace, or if I'm out, I'm just inspired by a lot of things. Cause
I was just going to ask you, where do you draw inspiration from with your visuals? Because there was a season or a time where it was like consistently the same thing. Then at times it would be like maybe you on vacation by water. And then it goes back to being like a visual. And each piece is like therapeutic to view.
I just love peace. I love things that are relaxing. I love beauty. I love stillness. I love how things can be moving but still calm. So you'll find me catching shadows, you'll find me catching raindrops, you'll find me catching all those things. So that's pretty much where I gain like visual inspiration from. But in terms of like the words, it's really, I do a heart check. And I think about, what do I need to say to myself today? What does the little DJ need today, or the little Jaurdane needs today?
Yeah.
How is she feeling this morning? So a lot of times I do post my affirmations fresh in the morning.
When it comes to like your broadcast channel, I feel like you do a really good job of like staying on it and like having everyone feel like they have this niche with you. Oh, like your voice memos, I be listening to them like, hold on, she needs to start her podcast. She needs to start her podcast. Yes, I said that.
Oh gosh.
Yes, I said that.
I hear you.
And so while you are cultivating this large group, rather large group of women, men and women, that are following you, they are finding their voice through looking at your affirmations. How do you continue to show up and cultivate your existing friendships?
But they come first. My community, no shade to you all because I love you, but my community comes next. My friendships and my relationships mean a lot to me, because that is when everything else crumbles, that's what's gonna hold you alive. And so I am very intentional about checking in with my friends, talking to them, hearing their ideas, being a safe space for them. And really just having the open door policy to talk it through, but really like having real conversations, like what we doing this week, or how did you feel about that? I tell my friends first about everything, and what we talk about is what I can share with my community. It's more thought out, it's more, digestible by the time I get to my community.
Literally, that's how I am. I'll run stuff by my friends and then be like, wait, hold on. What do you think about this? Did you think that? And then it's like, okay, we on the same page? Bet.
My friends give me ideas. They give me content topics. They pull things out of me. They're the ones that's like, you might want to start, just do a broadcast group. Because I feel like for me, because I do work for real, like in real life, like I'm an influencer, yes, but I do have I am an entrepreneur and I do run an agency.
Can we get into that? Can we talk about it? Yes. Just a little light dabble.
It's just a little, social media and branding agency that helps, women in leadership really put their best foot forward and amplify their voices online. And it's really for people that, want to make sure that their message connects with their audience. Like my zone of genius is authenticity. And I have a way of being able to help brands tell their story, show up online, and connect with their audience in an authentic way that doesn't feel forced, but is also high excellence as well. So, oh my God. Slow clap.
The slow clap is because you said my zone of genius.
I don't know everything, but when it comes to social media and branding, I feel
know what's up.
That's my zone. That's right there. And when we talk about authenticity and just showing up as yourself and connecting with your audience in a way that is not just cute but profitable, is that's where I'm at with it.
I know that I have a voice, and I've always used my voice in different ways.
Yes.
But there was a moment you had asked me the question. You asked me the question of, at what point did I know that I was losing myself? I felt like I knew I was losing myself when my content online was turning into serve 24/7. There's nothing wrong with serving.
It's nothing wrong with serving.
24/7, when I know God has called me towards more than that. And so by finding my voice and being able to express it in different ways, that's how I know, okay, I'm walking in what I'm supposed to be walking in.
I put myself first, of course. Because I learned, because I did it the hard way, of giving from an empty cup. And I had to come online and be honest with my community, like, hey, I'm empty, I'm pouring from an empty cup. And I learned from that how to rejuvenate myself, keep myself up, of course, and then also pour into my friends. And then that is my community, my online community, I look as the overflow. So it starts with me, it trickles into my real relationships, and then it overflows to the online.
With the source of how you just mentioned, how it's starting with you, it trickles into your relationships, and then it goes into the community. Who is pouring into Jaurdane? Like, what does the mentorship side look like for you? Who's building you up?
That's a good question. I didn't really have mentorship, but the traditional way. I saw people that I really just was like, I want to know how they're doing it. And they may not never know they mentored me, but I watched their lives. I watched how they were all the time. I paid attention to their interviews. I paid attention to what they were doing. But I will say in the latter portion of my career, one of my mentorship looks like really just me being able to ask questions. I have one mentor, she's my pastor, and just how she lived her life on and off camera was like mentorship to me.
Yeah.
It showed me that you gotta be who you post to be.
Come on.
And you can't just be empowering online, but be a negative Nancy offline.
Yep.
You can't be singing Kumbaya online, but offline you a mean girl. Can't nobody sit with you. You rude. Like you don't turn in project. Like you don't do things on time. So I just kind of learned through how she lived her life on and offline. That was just a huge mentorship for me because growing up, I didn't really see. My mom was impactful, like my adopted mom was impactful because she was like a go-getter, but I didn't really see the follow-up. I didn't see a woman really show up in the home and really just be about her business in this way. So to be able to see that was mentorship for me. There's so many women I can name that have somehow mentored me.
But they may not even know.
So when I think about, how I'm being poured into is that I definitely, of course, get into the word, make sure I have my quiet time, make sure that I'm intentional about studying and getting to know myself, going to therapy.
Let's talk about the T
different
word.
Types of therapy.
What would you say is your top 3 forms of therapy? Go.
Ooh, I would say EDMR, like trauma therapy is so important because a lot of us have childhood trauma. So if you could find a trauma therapist to really get some good therapy, that would be great. I mean, traditional therapy is fine. I don't have 3 different types. I've only been through trauma therapy and just basically relational and like just ongoing upkeep of therapy.
Okay.
But I think those 2 are like super important, especially if you have any childhood traumas or if you had a hard childhood, because a lot of the things that we deal with and the things that mentally are holding us back has a lot to do with how we were raised. What's up?
You leave me speechless. But we're going to pivot into the next question.
What's that?
The next question is actually, in a world where everyone is making content about themselves, what advice do you have for someone who is looking to start, essentially, a faceless page?
That's a good question. The first thing is make sure that is something that you want to do. Make sure that you want to do that. Like that is like, you know what? I don't want to be seen. I just really want to put out content. Because a lot of people think, oh, let me do a faceless brand so I can get my numbers up or I can get followers or so I could be lazy. Faceless brand doesn't mean that it's less work. So that's why you have to be clear about if it's something that you want to do. Because as a faceless brand right now, which is funny, I'm going to be honest, when I saw the question about faceless brand, my knee-jerk reaction was like, faceless? Like, I was like, no, sit with that. It is faceless. You've been able to be in front and behind, and you've mastered that in a way that most people can't. So for me, when I think my advice would be is make sure you want to do it, because just because it's faceless doesn't mean it negates the work. Number 2, make sure that you're ready that you're devoted to. This is something that you're dedicated to.
Because people are literally waiting for you to show up.
Yeah. And you have to to be successful, you have to make sure that it's entertaining, inspiring, or educational. And if it's not hitting any of those 3 points, then it's going to fall flat. Because you got to think about who are some of my favorites, like The Shade Room, Just an LA Boy, We the Turban. They show up every single day, all day, 3 times a day without fail. And number 3, and it's either inspiring, educational, or entertaining.
Come on.
Right? Then on top of that, they have zoned in a way that they know their audience voice. They speak the language. Just an LA Boy, there's probably nothing that we won't repost.
Yeah.
Unless, it's a little
off the wall.
It's a little, but maybe we need to change the cuss word or something.
But it's
9 times
relatable.
out of 10,
it's relatable.
It's not something that we haven't said before, if we're being completely honest. The Shade Room, we go to the Shade Room first when we want to know the what?
T. What's T, sweetie?
Okay. We think about We the Turban when we want uplifting Black girl empowerment type of things.
True.
So you know what those pages are for. So you have to know who you're talking to. So those are the 3 things that I would say when you're trying to build a faceless brand, is to zone in, be intentional, lock in.
Did you initially think it was going to go this direction?
No, this was very much for myself.
I love
and
that.
I still keep it that way. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to, I don't care if I come at 9 a.m. or 11 p.m. The affirmations will go up when I post them, because this is the only content that I own, that I love, that I can create. I can pick whatever song I want. I can put whatever words I want. But yeah, I think I never thought it would be a faceless thing. It actually, basically, I'm going to say it like this. It was God's way of showing that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. And that he could take the thing that you're most insecure about and make it rise.
Ooh.
Because never in a million years would I have thought that I would be someone known for my writing.
Because you just mentioned that was something you were actually insecure about.
I'm insecure about that. I'm a content creator. I'm out here taking the photos. If anybody has been following me for a long time, you've seen the progression, the switch.
Yeah.
So it was different for me, but it was just my way of like leaning into the multidimensional part of me, that I can be this and I can be that. I can be everything. That I can be all the things. And sometimes right now you just got to be a faceless brand so you can zone in and lock on this, and that's okay. It's all the things. I think that I never expected to go like this, but I'm grateful that it did, because honestly, there's something about how the Lord is so grateful and so kind that he will do something to hide you, because that's this faceless brand that I got going on. It's a hiding. It's not hiding anything bad, but it's keeping me. It's sustaining me. It's protecting me.
There's a peace that you're able to have.
But because social media and all the things is my zone of genius, there was strategy there. So that's why you see me show up every day. Yeah. Holidays, all the things.
Have to.
Because I'm intentional about it.
Tell me about what your strategic vision is for 2024.
Really just to dig deeper in my community, like dig deeper into the hearts of them, connect with them. That's my major goal for 2024, is connect with my community on a level that I haven't before. Just to zone in. The more I get to know them, the more I get to know what they need and what I can provide for them and what it looks like for me and how I can elevate my brand and all the things. But my goal is my strategic goal would be to get my community to get to know my community more.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. So this is the portion of the show where I turn all my guests into a main character, because I feel like y'all are the main characters in your own life. Okay. So you guys get to be in the host seat. And you get to ask me a question. What's your question for me?
My question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I've been asked that question, and it's crazy the way I answered it before and the way things are, playing out. So I try to be very cautious with how I answer questions like that in terms of like being the author of my story. But in 5 years, if I'm 27 now, I would be 32. I see myself unapologetic. I see myself being able to reap the fruits of my labor. What I've essentially poured into my craft, or crafts plural, within my 20s, I see them coming to light. I see myself happy and at peace. Yeah. I do see myself married and having a family. Yeah. I see myself in motherhood, for sure. Yeah. And I would say I see myself, back to the unapologetic side. A lot of people on the outside looking in are like, you make it look easy. You make it look seamless. It's like, you just show up. And that's because I don't really show too much of the behind the scenes. But I think a lot of the way I perform has a lot to do with my upbringing. Yeah. I am an athlete by nature. I ran track at the Division I level. And the sport that I ran, my main race was the 400, a full lap, under 60 seconds, on average 55 or lower. Yeah. But you are training all year round, no days off. None. It's not like basketball, it's not like football, it's not like volleyball, it's not like lacrosse. It's the one sport that if you have a week off, you are behind. Wow. So essentially you really don't get a break. No. Most people that ran track, they know they don't get a break. But because of that, we've learned to have grit, determination, all of that, resiliency, and we perform for less than a minute. Right. And so in my mind, I feel like it has caused me to be an overthinker
Yeah.
in other areas of life where I am mad strategic. I plan things out, but that in other areas can be a crutch.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, I see myself fully breaking that.
Yeah.
It is an act that I'm continuing to grow and learn. So I definitely see myself in 5 years like I'm breaking free of that.
So what are your steps towards that? Like, I think unapologetically is huge. So what are your steps to like living unapologetically? Like, what does that look like for you?
What that looks like for me is truly believing that my voice holds more weight than the voice of others. And I say that in terms of opinion.
Yeah.
I hold a lot of opinion
Yeah.
to others.
Yeah.
Reason is because I'm someone who, like I mentioned with the athlete mindset, but even in my upbringing, I'm the 5th out of 6 kids. I am used to taking constructive criticism and taking feedback in. And after a while, when you are chipping away to mold something, to mold a sculpture, the sculpture is no longer just a slab.
Yeah.
The sculpture is whatever it has now adhered towards. Even when you see a flower growing, a flower is going to bend towards the sun, bend towards the water, bend towards whatever direction is nurturing it. And I feel like for me to be unapologetic, I have to believe that my voice is more important to me than the voice of others and not take the feedback or the constructive criticism to heart so much. So it's not to say that I'm putting levels on someone else's voice and
I understand.
it's more of a, for me to really be unapologetic, I have to own my voice and own my story.
Yeah, know that it's for you. You know that this is what I want to do, how I want to do it. Just because you say it's not up to your part, it's up to mine. And be okay with that. Be okay with that. I love that. I think being unapologetically yourself is so freeing. And I think that because we've been conditioned as a child to always listen to the other person, do what your parents say, you know, I'm gonna tell you how it goes. It's like we have to relearn how to use our voice. And I love this new parenting, by the way. Y'all are so kind to y'all's children. But the gentle parenting with the not so gentle kids is crazy. But
no, the thing is, the last guest and I were literally talking about gentle parenting and how they had taken the approach. They tried it and they were like, absolutely not.
I get it. I love it. I think that it allows space and room for children to find their voice and grow up with a stronger sense of owning their voice.
Yes.
Because that's so important, especially us as Black women. My gosh, it's like if we own our voice, we're aggressive. We are too much. We're too this, we're too that. But that's not the case. That is the farthest thing from the truth. So I love that you're going to show up unapologetically. I feel like we're doing the world a disservice if we don't show up ourselves and really live in our truth. We're doing God a disservice because He created us to be
and He gave us all these gifts and talents,
and
we just sitting on it.
The audacity.
Can you imagine?
It's the audacity for me.
It's the audacity.
Because why would you do that? I mean, I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it all the time. There's things that I'm still sitting on that I'm just like, okay, God,
it's in the vault and it needs to be released.
It's coming.
My word for this year is unlock.
That's good.
Yeah. And I try to put it at the forefront of every conversation, week, whatever, make sure everything I'm doing, I am unlocking to become a different version, a different variation. Because I think for me, I had to be reminded that everything that I need and what I thought that I was trying to grasp at for whatever level of validation or to feel complete, I already had it.
Oh yeah, everything you need.
I already had it.
Everything you need is either within you or within reach. And that's the tea.
And that's the tea. So this is now the portion of the show where we have Pass the Mic. So the last guest passed the mic to you and has a question for you. And then you will pass the mic to the next guest. And everybody will have to tune in to the next episode in order to catch the tea on what Jaurdane asked. So the last guest had asked a question, whether you are in a relationship or not in a relationship romantically, married or not married, because the last guest had no idea the status of the next person, how do you or how would you plan to keep and maintain your individuality while still being committed to the other person in that partnership?
I mean, it's a partnership. It's not you serving them and it's all about them, is partnership. It goes two ways. I think keeping your individuality is important, and how I would keep mine. You gotta have. I'm gonna just say it like this: you gotta have stuff going on. You gotta have your own life. You got to be doing your own thing. You got to do things that make you happy. It is not all about your significant other or who you're dating, okay? They are here to be in addition to, here to add on to what you already got going on. So the first thing I will always tell people, and especially single folks, because we lose ourselves when it be my man, my man, my man. And don't get me wrong, because if I get a man, it's going to be my man, my man, my man. But so I still have things going on. I still have things going. Like I still have things.
Your
going on.
life needs to be moving.
You need to have things going on, honey.
Yeah.
Like you need to be a part of some social groups. You need to have some friends.
Thank you.
You need to be working on some side passions.
You are occupied, and you're not just behaving as if you're busy. You genuinely have things going on.
You have things going on. That's how you keep your individuality. Is have things going on. Do your own thing. You're here to elevate each other. You know what I'm saying? Like. A relationship shouldn't feel like, oh, it's all about this person and I lose myself. Yeah. The reason why you lose yourself because you never know who you were in the first place. And you're looking for them to validate you. You should never be getting into a relationship looking for validation. They are the added. They're just the cherry on top. This is just, and the thing is, it's like, is this what we want to do? Is our life goals going in the same direction? Are we purposeful together? Is this cute or is this fruitful? Like, cause I've been in all of them. I've been in a few different relationships. You also have to know where you're getting to. You have to know the other person. If the other person don't support your individuality and you doing your own thing,
that's
and you living your life, that's the tea.
Because let's talk about it. Your significant other needs to make sure they are also supportive of the fact that you are an entrepreneur, or that you do like to travel, or that you equally yoked. If you are walking in your faith, ensure that they're also walking in theirs. Yeah. And it's okay to do a pull and a tug. Yeah. If you're someone that's a little bit more outgoing and they're a little bit more reserved, that is fine, yin and yang. Just make sure it doesn't disturb their spirit at the fact that you vocalize yours. Yeah. Because whatever yin yang, or if y'all are the same person, same type of people, you have things in common, you just need to really ensure that the person that you are choosing to partner with is in full support of your vision, and you are in turn in support of theirs. Most importantly, you just have to feel safe to be all of who you are, to have dreams, to have goals, to have things that you want to do together separately. You have to feel safe to be like, you know what, have this idea, and they support you. You have to feel safe. Love it. You have to feel safe. That's how you keep your individuality. But most importantly, you got to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are and where you stand and what you want, because by the time you realize that, you might look and be like, I actually don't like you. You know what I'm saying? I actually don't think this is a great relation. I actually don't want to be here. So I think that when you know who you are and what you want, you will go after that. You will attract better relationships and better people. That's what I would say. I mean, I don't know. You can check Google or something, but that's what I would say. She said you can check Google, Bard, ChatGPT. Ask one of them. You can ask but that's what Jordan said. But I'm going to say, know who you are first. Wow, that was very well thought out. I'm so glad that you answered that question. So in the spirit of passing the mic, what question do you have for our next guest? What has been the hardest lesson you've had to learn? I cannot wait to see how they answer that. You got to stay tuned. Yeah. Y'all got to stay tuned. That's going to be good. How can the people stay up to date with you, catch up with you? Well, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Beyonce's internet. Instagram.com/J_Ivory. That's how you can keep up with me. You can also visit my website at JIvory.co. Come say hey, DM me, text me, all the things. I'm here. So I would love to stay in touch with you guys. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being present. I'm so excited that we got to have this conversation. I'm looking forward to all of the amazing things that you have in store, that God has in store for the both of us. No, and especially just to see the way your book is going to continue propelling. You know, I'm excited, and I'm excited for you too. I'm so proud of you for doing something and stepping out on faith to do something. I know in a world where content, you're really trying to like pierce through and have a voice. So I just want to say I'm proud of you. Keep going. It's just the beginning. Listen, you working hard. You're a one-woman show over here a little bit. You got amazing people to help you, but I know how much time and effort you put into all of this. So listen, it's coming. Keep going. Well, thank you so much for coming.